Chosen one, this message didn't find you by accident. God led you here for a reason. There's something inside you that's been shifting lately. The way you see things, the way you feel energy, even the way people respond to your presence. Everything's been different. It's not confusion, it's transformation. You've outgrown the old frequency, the old environment, and the old version of yourself. You've become too powerful for the old dimension that once tried to contain you. Before we dive deep, make sure you like, share, and subscribe, because this message isn't just content, it's a divine confirmation for the chosen ones. And a heartfelt thank you to everyone who's been supporting through Super Thanks. God bless you richly. Your support, your presence, and your faithfulness do not go unnoticed. To all of you who continually watch, listen, and align, I'm truly grateful. If your spirit feels this frequency, type 77 in the comments right now. That number isn't random. It's a sacred signal to the Most High and the universe that you're ready. Ready to rise higher, ready to expand beyond limitations, and ready to fully step into the new dimension God has been preparing for you. Not everyone will make it to the end of this message. Only the truly chosen, those who stay, will receive clarity, confirmation, and deep spiritual understanding of why they've outgrown certain people, places, and patterns. This isn't something you hear once and move on from. This is a living word, a divine transmission designed to activate the next level of your spiritual evolution. Watch it again whenever your spirit calls you back, because each time, another layer of truth will reveal itself, showing you why you've become too powerful for the old dimension. Let's dive in. Chapter 1. The frequency shift within you, chosen one. Your spirit has been vibrating at a higher frequency, and lately you've been feeling it deeply. What used to excite you now feels dull. What used to make sense now feels empty. Conversations that once entertained you now sound like noise. People you once connected with suddenly seem distant, not because you changed overnight, but because your spirit outgrew the vibration they still live in. This isn't pride, and it's not isolation. It's transformation. You're evolving beyond the energy of the old dimension. Every dimension is defined by a frequency, a spiritual tone that shapes how people think, feel, and live. The old one you were in was built on fear, survival, and limitation. It taught you to play small, to please people, and to doubt your inner knowing. It made you chase validation from others, instead of trusting the voice of God within you. But through your pain, through your surrender, and through the long nights of feeling misunderstood, your energy began to shift. Each heartbreak, each loss, each silent battle you endured wasn't wasted. Those experiences purified your frequency. They stripped away illusions and attachments that were keeping you anchored in lower vibrations. You started to see through manipulation, to sense energy before words, and to value stillness over noise. That's when heaven began to tune your spirit to a higher frequency, one of peace, clarity, and divine awareness. Now you can feel energy instantly. You can walk into a room and sense truth or deceit. You can listen to someone's words and discern what their spirit is really saying. You no longer engage in gossip or competition, not because you're better than others, but because your soul has tasted higher realms of peace. And once you've experienced that kind of stillness, chaos feels unnatural. Chosen one, this is what it means to ascend. It's not just about spiritual talk or meditation. It's about vibration. You're no longer compatible with fear-based conversations, toxic cycles, or manipulative energy. You've been elevated into a space where your peace is your compass and your discernment is your shield. This frequency shift may feel lonely at first, but understand, you're not being isolated. You're being initiated. God is attuning your energy to the vibration of your destiny. He's aligning your spirit with divine order, teaching you how to flow instead of force. You'll notice that when you stop chasing what's not aligned, everything meant for you begins to move toward you. And when you feel that deep pull to disconnect, to recharge, or to sit in silence, don't resist it. That's your soul recalibrating, preparing to hold even more divine power. You're not the same anymore. Your frequency has changed. Your aura has expanded, and your presence now carries weight in the spiritual realm. You've officially stepped out of the old dimension, and every part of your being knows it. Chapter 2. The Collapse of Old Connections. Chosen One. As you rise in frequency, you'll begin to notice something that may first feel painful. People, relationships, and familiar connections slowly fading from your life. It's not rejection, it's realignment. The truth is, you didn't just change, you evolved. And not everyone can breathe in the atmosphere of your elevation. Some people were only assigned to your past vibration, not your new one. Your energy has become too strong for comfort zones. You've started to radiate truth, and truth always exposes what's been hiding in the shadows. Your light naturally makes others confront what they've been avoiding, their fears, their insecurities, their self-deception. You don't even have to say anything. Your very presence stirs conviction in others. That's why people who once cheered for you may now distance themselves. It's not that you did anything wrong. It's that your frequency now mirrors what they refuse to face. Your confidence now reveals their doubt. Your growth reminds them of their stagnation. Your faith exposes their fear. You've become a walking reflection of what they could be if they surrendered to transformation. But instead of rising with you, some will choose to retreat. Don't chase them. Don't lower your vibration to explain what God is doing within you. The separation is not sabotage, it's sacred. God is not punishing you by removing people. He's purifying your circle. He's protecting your peace from spirits that would only anchor you to the old dimension. Some relationships were never built on alignment, only attachment. They were rooted in trauma, convenience, or dependency. But as you've healed, those foundations no longer hold. The old version of you, the one who tolerated mistreatment, overgave, or kept quiet to keep the peace, no longer exists. And because that version is gone, the people who benefited from your unhealed self can no longer find access. It's going to sting. At first, you'll question why certain people turned cold, why certain connections faded without closure. But remember this: divine elevation always comes with divine elimination. The higher your vibration, the tighter your circle becomes, not out of pride, but out of purpose. Not everyone can go where God is taking you. And that's okay. The path to higher realms often requires walking alone for a season. Let them go in love, but don't go back. Don't try to resurrect what God Himself buried. When people walk away, it's often God's silent way of saying, I'm making room. Every person who leaves creates space for divine connections, people who speak your language, carry your frequency, and match your spirit. These new souls will see you not for what you've done, but for who you truly are in the kingdom. Chosen one, never forget. Growth demands pruning. The garden of your destiny cannot bloom surrounded by weeds from your past. You can't shrink to fit spaces that were never designed for your expansion. You can't lower your vibration to make others comfortable in their stagnation. Love them, bless them, but release them, because what's ahead of you is sacred. God is building a circle around you that aligns with your purpose, not your pain. A circle that challenges you to rise higher, not stay silent. The collapse of old connections isn't loss. It's liberation. You're not being abandoned. You're being aligned. Chapter 3. The spiritual pressure before elevation. Chosen one, before every dimensional shift comes intense spiritual pressure. You may have felt it lately. That invisible weight pressing on your soul, the sudden fatigue, the moments of deep confusion, the emotional highs and lows that seem to hit without warning. It's not because you're doing something wrong. It's because you're standing on the edge of a new dimension, and your old reality is fighting to hold you back. The closer you get to elevation, the heavier the resistance becomes. You may feel like everything is falling apart, your plans, your relationships, your sense of peace, but in truth, everything is falling into place. What you're experiencing is the spiritual turbulence that comes before takeoff. When a plane begins to rise, the air pressure shifts. The same thing happens to your spirit. As you ascend, the atmosphere around you adjusts, and not everything can handle the altitude of your new vibration. This is the reason why the warfare has been so strong. The enemy senses your elevation before you do. He sees the glow of your anointing, the authority that's awakening in you, and he knows that once you step into full awareness of your divine identity, his influence over your mind is broken forever. So he tries to distract you with confusion, with fear, with doubt, hoping you'll believe you're under attack when really you're under transformation. Chosen one, pressure in the spirit realm is always a sign of promotion in the natural. Heaven is stretching you to handle the weight of what's coming. God isn't punishing you. He's preparing you. The discomfort you feel isn't destruction. It's divine conditioning. You're being refined for flight. That's why your emotions have been unpredictable, why old wounds have resurfaced, and why solitude feels necessary. Your spirit is recalibrating to carry new frequencies of power, wisdom, and authority. Think of it this way. When gold is purified, it must endure the fire. The heat separates the pure from the impure, the eternal from the temporary. You are in that same refining process. The fire isn't there to consume you. It's there to reveal you. Every trial, every delay, every betrayal has been melting away the layers that no longer serve your divine identity. That's why during this pressure, people may misjudge you. They may say you're distant, distracted, or different. But what they don't understand is that you're in spiritual labor. Something new is being birthed through you. The contractions of pressure are the signs that your next level is crowning. Every tear you've cried, every sleepless night, every moment you've questioned God, it's all part of the preparation for your emergence. You see, in the old dimension, you survived by reacting, but in the new one, you'll lead by responding in wisdom. God is teaching you patience, discernment, and emotional stability, because these are the qualities that sustain elevation. You're not just being lifted higher. You're being fortified for leadership in higher realms. When everything around you feels unstable, that's not chaos, it's alignment. The shaking is divine. God is detaching every person, plan, and pattern that cannot survive in your new dimension. The reason you feel like you're losing control is because you're no longer the one steering. God is. You're learning to trust His hand, even when you can't trace His plan. Chapter 4. Your new power is spiritual, not ego-based. Chosen one, don't mistake your newfound strength for arrogance. It's not pride, it's presence. What's awakening within you isn't human confidence, it's divine authority. You've reached a point in your spiritual evolution where your power no longer needs to prove itself. It simply is. You no longer need to announce who you are. Your energy speaks before your words ever do. The power within you now isn't loud, it's peaceful. It doesn't demand attention, it commands respect. It doesn't chase validation, it carries vibration. The room shifts when you walk in because your spirit carries the frequency of someone who has been refined in silence, purified by fire, and rebuilt by grace. You've stepped into divine authority, where silence speaks louder than words, and peace becomes your loudest roar. You've learned something most people never do, that true power doesn't come from controlling others. It comes from mastering yourself. The more you surrendered your will to God, the more authority heaven entrusted you with. What used to trigger you no longer gets a reaction. What used to drain you no longer touches your peace. You've become rooted, deeply grounded in spiritual awareness. This is maturity. This is mastery. Chosen one, your power no longer flows from ego. It flows from embodiment. You no longer speak from emotion. You speak from revelation. You no longer chase outcomes. You attract alignment. You've understood that what belongs to you will always gravitate toward your frequency. So you no longer beg, chase, or force anything. You've become magnetic to what's divine and invisible, to what's not meant for you. And because of that, some people will misunderstand your calm. They'll think your quietness means weakness, but what they're feeling is your restraint, the kind of power that's disciplined, not desperate. You've evolved beyond needing to prove a point. You've realized that energy doesn't lie, and discernment reveals what words try to hide. This is what happens when you've been in the presence of God. You come out glowing differently. Your voice softens, but your impact deepens. Your heart expands, but your boundaries strengthen. You begin to move with quiet precision, knowing when to act and when to wait. You stop seeking revenge because you understand that justice belongs to God. You no longer fear loss because you've learned that anything taken from you was simply misaligned with your purpose. Your new power is divine intelligence. It's the awareness to see beyond the physical and feel the unseen. You discern spirits, sense deception, and detect truth before it's spoken. You can read the room without saying a word. That's because your intuition, your divine antenna, has been fine-tuned through trials, tears, and transformation. You've graduated from reacting to reflecting. Chosen one, there was a time when you wanted recognition. You wanted to be understood, to be seen, to be appreciated. But now you've realized that divine ones don't need validation. They are validation. Your presence itself confirms God's promise. You are walking evidence that surrender leads to power, and that humility opens gates pride can never enter. Chapter 5. Recognizing the signs of dimensional expansion. Chosen one, how do you truly know when you've outgrown the old dimension? It doesn't happen with loud announcements or sudden changes. It happens quietly, subtly, almost like your soul is whispering that something deeper is shifting within you. One day you wake up, and what once felt normal now feels foreign. The conversations that used to entertain you sound shallow. The environments that once gave you comfort now feel heavy. That's not boredom. That's your spirit signaling expansion. You start noticing patterns that no one else seems to see. You begin to sense energy before words. You feel people's true intentions before they reveal them. You can walk into a room and instantly discern whether the atmosphere is light or heavy. Your intuition becomes sharper, and your inner voice becomes louder. You can no longer ignore what your spirit knows. Even when your mind tries to rationalize it, your sleep changes too. Sometimes you wake up in the middle of the night with divine downloads, visions, or sudden clarity. That's not insomnia. That's your spirit receiving instruction from higher realms. The hours when the world is quiet are when heaven speaks the loudest. You'll notice that time begins to feel different. Days move quickly, but your awareness deepens. You're no longer living by the clock. You're living by alignment. And even when life feels uncertain, there's a deep calm within you. A quiet assurance whispering, you're exactly where you're meant to be. That calm isn't denial. It's divine trust. You've learned that not knowing the next step doesn't mean you're lost. It means you're being guided. Your faith has matured from needing signs to becoming the sign. Material things no longer excite you like they once did. You stop chasing possessions because you realize abundance isn't measured by what you have. It's measured by what you can live without and still feel whole. You crave purpose, not attention. You value truth more than trends. The external world begins to lose its grip on you because you're learning to draw your fulfillment from the eternal, not the temporary. You start noticing that you don't fit where you used to. The conversations that once fed your ego now starve your soul. You desire depth, not drama. You want silence more than noise. Fear's not that you're becoming distant. You're becoming deliberate. You're protecting your energy because you understand that what you allow around you affects what flows through you. Chosen one, these are the signs of expansion. You're detaching from what's temporary so you can attach to what's eternal. Your desires are shifting from outer validation to inner evolution. You're beginning to understand that peace is the new wealth, discernment is the new power, and alignment is the new success. And as you expand, you'll notice another powerful shift. The more you evolve, the less you need. The less you seek from the outside, the more you receive from within. You realize your spirit is self-sustaining because it's directly connected to the source. You no longer depend on the system to supply what the spirit freely gives. This is divine maturity. This is what it feels like to move from survival to sovereignty, from reacting to reality to co-creating with the divine. You're not just growing. Chapter 6. The battle between dimensions, chosen one. Understand this truth. The moment you begin ascending to a higher dimension, the old one starts fighting for its survival. It doesn't want to release you because your light sustained its illusion. The energies of the old realm, fear, doubt, confusion, distraction, will try to pull you back into cycles you've already conquered. The battle isn't just external anymore. It's spiritual, mental, and emotional. The old dimension knows how to disguise itself. It will send you familiar faces with new masks, old emotions dressed in fresh situations, and opportunities that seem good but carry hidden traps. It will whisper to your mind, maybe you're overthinking, maybe you're missing out, maybe you should go back. But that voice is not your intuition. It's your old vibration trying to reclaim you. Every memory that resurfaces, every emotion that feels heavy, every temptation that reappears, all of it is a test of spiritual endurance. These are echoes of your old identity, asking for your attention one last time. They come to see if you still resonate with the frequency of your former self. That's why awareness is your greatest weapon in this season. You're not being punished, you're being proven. Understand this. When you're in the middle of a dimensional shift, the universe doesn't test you to see what you know. It tests you to reveal what you've become. You may feel like everything is being stripped away, but that stripping is separation. You're shedding density so your spirit can ascend freely. The old you needed validation. The new you needs vision. The old you reacted. The new you responds with divine intelligence. The enemy doesn't fear your power. He fears your peace. Chaos was always the hook that kept you tied to the old realm. When you lived in confusion, you were easy to control. When you lived in fear, you were easy to manipulate. But now you've found stability in stillness. You're learning that silence is not weakness, it's warfare. The moment you stop reacting emotionally and start moving spiritually, you become untouchable. You're no longer fighting for your breakthrough. You're protecting it. Every distraction is designed to get you to forfeit your focus. That's why you may notice random conflicts appearing out of nowhere, delays that test your patience, or people trying to drain your energy. None of it is coincidence. It's strategy. The old dimension can't stop your elevation, but it can tempt you to self-sabotage. That's why discernment is crucial right now. Remember, the old you would have argued, explained, or tried to prove your worth. But the new you doesn't need to defend what's divine. You understand that silence often speaks louder than words, and distance is sometimes the most powerful answer. You've learned that not every battle deserves your energy. Some only exist to distract you from your destiny. This season requires spiritual intelligence. You must learn to recognize what's a threat and what's a test. Some battles are meant to be fought, while others are meant to be ignored. The moment you react emotionally, you give power to what was already beneath you. That's why the higher you rise, the quieter you must become. Stillness isn't passivity, it's strategy. It's the posture of those who trust that God is already fighting for them. Chapter 7. Walking in your new dimension, chosen one. The transition is complete. You've crossed over. The old dimension has released its grip, and the person you once were has fulfilled their mission. Every trial and every tear shaped you for this exact moment. You've shared illusion and limitation, and now you walk in divine clarity, carrying wisdom born from endurance, not ease. This new dimension isn't a place you arrive at. It's a frequency you embody. You no longer try to align. You simply are. You move differently because you see differently. What once triggered you now teaches you. What once confused you now confirms your purpose. The delay was development. The rejection was redirection. And the isolation was preparation. Here, everything responds to vibration, not effort. Your words, thoughts, and emotions now create your reality. Opportunities align with your energy.